Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? You can see my hand right here. The reason I came close to this projector, and this is a 128 inch. I moved to another room, so now it's a 128 inch screen. Originally, I was gonna do 188, but I figure, it's really hard for me to do 188 inches because with the camera, I have to be so far away for you to see that such a big, gigantic size. This is 128 inch right here. And I can tell you that the peak brightness on this projector, it's really outstanding. Just to show you how bright it is. Here, just so you guys can see just how bright this thing is. Believe me, it is very bright. And I know that a lot of you are worried, does this TV puts out that nice HDR peak brightness? I've tested a few movies with this. I have tested Terminator 2. I have tested Justice League. I have tested Transformers. It is really bright. Maybe we can do a couple of movies. I will not play a movie. I will just show you a paused still because I don't want to get blocked. Now, if you do see these lines, what these lines are, these little purple lines, that's a DLP motor that's spinning. The rainbow effect. It's called the rainbow effect. Only the camera lens can depict that if the camera lens is put into a low light. Okay, but if it's not put in a low light, then you can see it. You won't have any issues. I mean, you will not see this in person. What I'm trying to say, you will not see this in person. But if you use a camera, you will see that rainbow effect. Now, you can adjust this rainbow effect by simply moving your brightness a little bit higher on your camera. And that can be avoided. But it's not the projector. Projector's fine. This is for those of you who, you see what I'm talking about? For those of you who never tried a DLP projector, I don't want you to think that, oh, something's wrong with this thing. There's nothing wrong with this thing. This projector works fine. It's just that's the rainbow effect from DLP motor that's spinning, and this is something that you're gonna see through camera on all of those DLP projectors. Okay, and this thing, it's very bright. Okay, this thing, it's super bright. The luminous brightness is about 2200, but it's a very bright 2200. Okay. And it's not the 3 LCD technology. This is a DLP, the new DLP technology that uses a new processing and also has the new lamp that it's producing that really bright peak brightness. As you can see, it is very bright. Bright enough for you to get that HDR. So let's go ahead and let me play some movies here really quick. Just a still. I'm gonna play a Terminator 2 really quick here. Where is it? Terminator 2. Actually, I'm gonna play Transformers. Let me show you a little still from Transformers. I'm gonna pause the movie and then we're gonna examine the picture quality. And here, just to show you how bright this is. This is a native 4K, HDR or IMAX, and the HDR here, and this entire screen, it's really bright. Even though I have some light coming into this room, believe it or not, I do have a little bit of light coming into this room, and it's still really bright. And you do have definitely a bunch of options on this projector. Here's a remote. You can see the remote. It does lit up. It has the orange, bright, reddish lights that are emitting, backlighting from the remote control. It uses 2 AAA batteries. One unique feature that I like about BenQ HT-2550 is the ability to calibrate your projector. And there are no short tools of you not being able to calibrate. You got plenty of tools. You got everything from brightness to contrast to color. I left the color at 55 here. You got sharpness. I left sharpness at 8. So you got all of your basics right here, just like as you would on a TV, to calibrate this picture quality to your likeness. And this is just the basics right here that you're gonna get. And then on top of that, you also have HDR brightness. You can choose how much of HDR brightness would you like. Would you like to, like if the movie is too dimmed to you, and if that brightness not good enough, we can extend this to number 2 or number 1. But I really wouldn't advise that you do this, because sometimes moving that HDR peak brightness can also kill your white bright levels. The best thing to do, I would leave it at 0. But if you feel that your HDR brightness is not that good, you can always move it to +1 or +2. But I'll leave it here at 0. You also have a color temperature. You can choose between different color temperatures: cool, warm, neutral. And you also have the offsets here, RGB offsets. So if you have a if you have a calibrating tool, like Caltech calibrating tool, you can do this. Okay, did I pronounce that company correctly? Is it Kelman, not Caltech? Caltech is the other company for something else. Kelman. Kelman is the calibrator company that sell all these equipments and software. So if you have a calibration, if you have a calibrating equipment, you can actually do this. Okay. So you have a variety of different features here. You also have a color management where you can adjust your hue, your saturation, your gain. You can choose your primary color. All of these things will come useful if you have a Calman calibrating equipment and calibrating software. Okay, you can do this. All of this stuff, you can do it. And you can also choose a color gamut. You can choose between a variety of different color gamuts. You can go to automatic, or you can go to BT709, or you can go to BT2020. Now, BT2020, right? It's the full wide color gamut. So this is the highest one you can get, 2020. And this thing supports all of the above. I personally would leave it on automatic. Let the projector find out what's the best color gamut for your external device and your HDMI cable. And you also have the Noise Cinema Master. This is a really useful tool, Cinema Master, that's built into this chip, this DLP processing chip. You can enhance your color, you can enhance your pixel enhancer 4K. I wouldn't use pixel enhancer 4K too high. I would just leave it at 5%. Okay, unless the picture it's really, really blurry. This is a useful tool to use if you are upscaling regular Blu-ray movies to 4K. This is a useful tool to use right here. And you have the flesh tone, but I never mess with that. And you also have a brilliant color. This is the mode that it uses a correct color correction, so the colors will be represented accurately. This projector has really an outstanding color. You know, me showing it to you through a camera really doesn't do it justice. This is something you will have to see in person. It has excellent representation of color. All right. And this is the reason why I went with BenQ. The amount of features that BenQ has here, as I've just shown it to you, there's plenty of tools available for you to calibrate this projector and have that perfect native 4K HDR picture quality. This is a true native 4K projection, 8.3 million pixels. Okay, this is not something that's trying to enhance it. This is a true native 4K and a true HDR. On top of the all of these features are available. All right, this thing, I haven't even scratched the surface. This thing has even more features. Okay, and that shows you just the effort that BenQ has put into making sure that you have all the tools necessary for you to adjust your 4K HDR picture quality on this thing. And this thing looks fantastic. Let me show you Terminator 2 a little bit. Alright, here's Terminator 2, Judgment Day. I just look how beautifully the colors are represented here. Just look how beautifully this is popping out of the screen. You would think that this is like a big giant TV that you have in a room. And this is as close as you're going to get to like you going into a home cinema, a home theater. This is exactly the kind of like thing you're going to see. Most of these professional home cinema theaters, they're using a high-end DLP lasers, but I think this is as close as you're going to get to those like DLP lasers, all right, for a budget. By the way, the BenQ is using exactly the same chip that Optima UHD60 and UHD65 is using. Exactly the same chip. A lot of people complain to me about the Terminator. It's like, the movie doesn't look that great. The detail in the movie, the DNR, and all this other stuff. I don't see what the complaint is, honestly. I would say that this is the best version of the Terminator 2 that you can get on a 4K HDR. Actually, this is the only 4K HDR version, and it's the best at the moment 4K HDR version that you can get. Okay, this looks fantastic considering how old this movie is. Okay, we're talking about what, 20 something years ago, maybe even more, 25, 26, 28 years ago, as a matter of fact, 28 years ago, and this movie still looks great. And it looks very sharp, it looks very detailed. The colors are represented very beautifully here on this movie, and you have to remember, it's really going to be really hard for you to see what I'm seeing through a camera. You'll just have to trust me when I tell you that it looks very great. And a lot of people have been complaining about this movie, that it's not, as I said earlier, that it doesn't represent that nice color and detail. Believe me, there's plenty of detail here, there's plenty of color, and this is the best you're gonna get at the moment for a movie like this. Okay, so this projector really plays 4K and HDR brilliantly, and the HDR just pops out of the screen. You will not be disappointed, man, with this projector. Okay, especially for 1500, you're not gonna be disappointed. And believe me, there's plenty of brightness here. There's plenty of contrast. The contrast ratio here, it's 10,000 to 1. Luminous brightness, it's about 2200. But what this thing does well, it does is the processing. The processing chip of DLP that's built inside this projector, it's really good. Those 4K pixel shifters that are built inside this processor and the DLP, they process each pixel brilliantly, meaning 8.3 million pixels are being represented here as they should be. And the detail, it's here. Believe me when I tell you, there's plenty of detail here. It's going to be hard for you to see that, but believe me when I tell you that there's plenty of detail here. You will see everything. Alright, so let me move back down here. So I personally, I like this projector. I think this is the most affordable way for you to get into a 4K HDR projection. And I would honestly, for a home use, if you live in a small apartment, if you live in a small home, I would say 128 inches, it's perfect. Unless you live in a big giant, let's say you have a big storage place, or you got a big giant spared garage, or you have this extra huge dining room or something, and you want to build a movie theater, then I guess you can go to 188 or 200 inches. But I really wouldn't go all the way to 300. I would go to 208. I think 208 inches is just more than enough for you to get that nice movie theater cinema feel. Okay, but for like an apartment, for like small place, I would say 120, 128 inches, man, it's more than enough. Okay, because you're going to be sitting from a very short distance, and 128 inches is pretty darn good, okay, guys? So here I am, you know, a movie that's 28 years old, and this, oh, by the way, I'm using Oppo. This is being, not Oppo, I'm sorry, my Apple 4K TV, it's being connected through Oppo HDR pass-through, and it looks fantastic. But again, you know, I know a lot of you who are watching this video will not hear what I'm saying. I guess you're gonna hear what I'm saying, but you're not gonna register to what I'm trying to tell you. I don't do these videos. Let me repeat this slowly so you understand. I do not do these videos to show you through a video, through a camera, a holy grail. I'm doing these videos to tell you my experience with what I am seeing. There's no way in hell that you can see exactly what I'm seeing through camera. You would have to be here in person so that you understand it, so that you register, hey, BenQ, it's pretty kick-ass 4K projector. And don't take my word for it. Go to Google. Go to YouTube. Google this BenQ 4K projector. You will see that is the fastest selling affordable 4K projector out there. Don't take my word for it. Go out there and search. Google is your friend. Google, and you will find out that what I'm telling you here is true. And how did I find out for myself? Well, I got one. That's how I find out for myself. I actually get to get the benefit of a doubt by having this thing, so I can tell you that it's true. This thing definitely, it's bright enough, and it definitely has a great contrast ratio. It's not the super high-end contrast ratio of 1 million to 1 that UHD 60 has of Optima, but for an entry-level BenQ 4K projector, this is pretty good. This is a brand new 2018 projector. It has, I would say, better representation color than Optima. Optima is from last year, and they're missing a couple of features on Optima. They don't have that cinema color representation that this thing has, and which is really important. The wide color gamut for HDR, it's freaking important, and you gotta have that. And this thing has Rec 709 and BT2020. Okay, it supports all of the above, all of it. All right, so I'm gonna start doing some video games in my next video. We'll do some PlayStation 4 Pro. We're gonna go to some of the games. We're gonna check them out. But trust me, you will not be disappointed with this projector. And it's also a small, compact projector. You can take it with you. Put it in your 5'11" backpack or whatever. And if you can go to some place that has enough room on the wall for 120 inch, you're good. Alright guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching this. And please keep in mind, as I said earlier, I do these videos to give you my experience, to give you my thoughts. I'm not doing this to tell you, oh look, here's the holy grail, here's the smoking gun proof and all this other crap. No, I'm doing these videos to tell you exactly my experience that I'm having with this product. And that's about it. And if you don't believe me, well, too bad. You don't have to watch it. But you can do your research. You can Google everything that I tell you here, and you can find out the truth for yourself. All right? There you have it.